Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first 90 days planning workshop. This is part of the Intention Intensive Challenge. And I'm Aunt Carla from Marie Lazo on Instagram. And the whole point of today's workshop is to plan your first 90 days. So for the past 3 weeks of the Intention Intensive Challenge, we have been getting our intentions ready for the new year. It's going to be here like in several days, right? So we always have these ideas of, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do all these great things, I'm going to just be ready to go. But my goal is to get you to start thinking about just the first 90 days, because we can get lost in the weeds. Like when we're thinking, okay, this is my 10-year plan, this is even my 1-year plan, and things happen so quickly. Even this year itself, any of those dreams that we had at the beginning of this year, the end of last year, things changed in March. So that to me is just a great example of why we need to stay fluid. Things can happen in your industry, things can happen in your life, and you want to be able to be fluid enough to make changes and still work towards your goals, whatever that is. And sometimes you have to pivot. And it's just easier to do when you're working in 90-day increments or seasonal increments, as opposed to trying to, have this lifetime goal thing. And because also things don't always happen the way we expect them to, right? So yeah. So I said I am Aunt Carla. Most of you know that, and this is you. You might not be wearing Afro puffs, but this is the magician card in the tarot deck, and the magician card is a reminder that you have the power to create your own destiny. You are not at the mercy of fate. We have things like, we have our spiritual practices, our magic, our inner power at our disposal. And that is what I want us to use. I want us to not feel like, okay, I want to do these things, but I can't. Well, why not? I reject all of that. So I say, let's get together and put our minds and our hearts and put our powers together, and, and achieve really great things for ourselves. And my intention is to help you achieve your major manifestation in 2021, or major manifestations. I feel that I have been able to do all kind of fun things over the years. And I just feel like when people put their mind to it, they can really make things happen. And I'm here as a cheerleader and a teacher to help you tap into your own inner power and be a reflection for you, and say, yeah, you go, you could do it, you could do it, because I really do believe that you can. So just a wrap up or reminder of the session 3 assignment we just had, like last Sunday, we had session 3, and the assignment was create your fall down 9, get up 10 list. I'm going to be summarizing that shortly. I want you to review the winter season energies, like the first 90 days that's coming up, what's going to be going on energetically or spiritually, or however you want to look at that, and also review the different daily energies so that you can choose correctly when you are making your plans. And I want you to think about, well, actually, I want you to start planning your first 90 days. Like, January 1st is only a few days away. So it's time to start thinking, what are you going to do? And if you're in the Marie Lazo Queen Up group on Facebook, I would love for you to share. And also, you don't have to share. You don't have to be in the group. Some people like to, share their information. Some people just like to lurk and get that good energy, especially if they don't have supportive people around them. So that's just different things you could do. Okay, so my first question, as always, is what do you want to create in 2021? And I'll just say, I will open the questions up now. What do you want to create? What are some of your goals that you would like to do in 2021? Platypus says, my divination affirmation today was, I influence my own fate. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So if anyone wants to share, financial stability. Yes, that's a very good one. I had to work on that one for years. Luxury apartment. Okay, Shoshana. I like that. I like the way that sounds. All right, Platypus is working on that RV. Jocelyn says, balancing work, life, and self-development. Create multiple streams of income other than my 9 to 5. That's a fantastic goal. K Bank says self-employment. Oh, Platypus, YouTube growth. Absolutely. Neela, take my business to another level. speaking of YouTube growth, like platypus, the other day, I was working on my vision board and I put YouTube because, like, I have a fledgling YouTube channel. So I put like a picture of YouTube on my vision board. So, I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. So I totally get that. Z says financial freedom of time. Dana says finding a career that I enjoy. Gray Rain, reaching career goals to achieve independent living in a beautiful apartment of my own. Latana says start my business. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So now you tell me what you want to do. My first question is, what will you do first? Now you don't have to answer this, but I want you to think about that. So, we've the past 3 weeks, we've been, doing vision boards and meditations and tarot divination and all these different things and talking and reading and sharing. Now it comes time for the action. What will you do first? Now, clear out my current apartment. That's really good. I like that. Shoshana is right there. And you know what? That's going to even tune into what I talk about later when I talk about planning. But that is fantastic. Declutter and focus on budget. See, y'all are already ahead of the game, because this is a lot of it is like removing obstacles, getting things out of the way, making space. So y'all are already ahead of the game. I'm so excited about that. All right. So here is register my business name. Okay, K Banks. I love it. Everyone is like not waiting to the first. Fantastic. So here is a woman at the finish line. Look, she's like, she's at that place where she's like ready to go and never say die. And this is all of us right now, right? It's the end of the year, a new year is starting, and we're ready to just like, we're ready to just like be like Wonder Woman and just and just like really tackle our goals, right? Whether it's losing weight or buying a house or starting a family, all these things. But I learned something that was kind of, I got some news today, and it is this. The second Friday in January is the fateful day when most of our annual commitments start to crumble. So for 2021, that's January 8th. I'm like, dang. So like if I was thinking I was going to be losing weight or something or going to the gym around January 8th might be the time when I start thinking about other things to do instead of going to the gym, or other priorities start to get in the way. I mean, I didn't even get to wear all my cute gym outfits, right? Now, this isn't to say that this is going to be your fate at all, but this was a survey taken by a social network for athletes. And they took a survey, and that's when they noticed that's the time, people's priorities kind of start to change, or life gets in the way. And as you know, like I've seen gyms are like totally packed that first weekend, in January, or the first couple weeks. But already by February, by March, it gets like really quiet again. So I remember, now I haven't been in the gym in a long time, but I remember there was a time when I was really like active going to the gym, and I remember seeing that because I had started at a different time of the year. I had started my exercise regime or whatever I was doing later in the year. So by the time January hit, I already had great momentum going. So I got to see, even from that bird's eye view of, wow, look at all these people. Dang, I can't even get the machines I want. And then a few weeks later, where'd everybody go? So whether you have physical goals, or you have emotional goals, financial goals, just know that it doesn't take that long for us to start losing losing steam. Now, I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad or to shame you or anything like that. I just want to remind you that it doesn't take that long for us to get off of our path. And I want us to plan for that. So last week's class, when I talked about planning to receive, I was also talking about planning for when shit hits the fan, planning for when life gets in the way, planning for these different things that have occurred. And as I said before, many of us want whatever this thing is that we want. We've probably wanted it before. We've probably gone for it before, but something got in the way. Something happened. Now, for all of these different examples, there are also going to be things that you did get, these things that you wanted for a really long time, and then you finally achieved them. but you had to do something. You had to overcome, obstacles. You had to resist temptation. You had to do something else. And you have done this in the past and you can do it again. But I just want to just remind you though, we are, we are people, we are creatures of habit. And if we don't plan for these changes or obstacles to come, then we might be blindsided when they kind of knock us off. But I got stuff for you. So let's see. Um, so just a reminder of the blocks that often happen, not setting a magical foundation. So that's like either using astrology to plan or using divination, to see what's going on with you, to use rituals when you want to stay, when you want to attract something or remove obstacles. Um, Protecting whatever it is that you are trying to bring into whatever you are trying to manifest. Another block is setting too many goals. When you have too many goals, then it gets very difficult to make things happen. So, when we're thinking about like, oh, this year I want to do all this stuff, but when you don't really think about what are you going to do for that first 90 days, how is that really going to work? How is that going? What is that going to look like? Because when you say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start my new website and I'm going to do this. I'm going to post 4 times a day. And then I'm going to take this marketing challenge or whatever these things are. Like you have all of these different things that you want to do. But if you try to do them all at the same time, you're going to get like, there's going to be a blockage and it makes it very difficult to go forward. So just keep that in mind. Not creating protective boundaries. That's when it comes to not having the wrong people in your life or telling the wrong people about what you're doing. Like you have to protect whatever it is that you want, like it's a baby. And as excited as we can be about whatever it is that we want to create, we can't tell everybody because some people, they want to make fun of us. They want to try to poke holes, so not everyone is going to be your friend. So that's just something to think about. Negative self-talk, that's a danger for sure. That's one when we lose our nerve and we start saying things to ourselves like, oh, who am I to do this? I can't do that. I can't start a business. I need to lose weight first. People say this and I've heard it happen. It's like, they're not even related, or someone feeling like, oh, I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. Or who am I to think that I could do this? And it's all like these negative beliefs, these limited beliefs that are in our mind, but they're just beliefs. They are not the truth. But when we are not careful, we can fall into that, we can get into like a downward spiral and then give up. But I will not encourage you to do that. I will always encourage you to go forward. And then finally, inertia, the desire to remain unchanged. Sometimes, I might not want to go to the gym. Clearly, I haven't gone to the gym in a while, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. But it's like, we get into this habit of doing something or not doing something. And if what we want to do requires some energy to make that change, it takes a lot more energy for us to get started. Like, so for example, a rocket burns up most of its fuel and energy when it's lifting off, not when it's already going there. So this beginning part, these first 90 days, this is where you're going to be using a lot of your energy. So we want to use it wisely. Shoshana, everyone in my way at the gym using my equipment. Move, exactly. Yeah, but really that soon. So we want to make sure that for these for these first 90 days that we are using our energy and our intention wisely so we can move forward. And then by the time we're into spring, then we already have that momentum going. But these first 90 days, these are going to be like, okay. All right. So as I said also the other day, failure to plan is planning to fail. So we want to plan for the moments when we're not feeling that strong. We want to plan for, well, what are we going to do? So on Sunday, this is a summary of the Fall Down 9, Get Up 10 list. And I asked you to identify at least 3 things for each of the following. What or who inspires you? What or who makes you laugh? What or who raises your spirit? and what activities and places make you feel good. And the idea is to create this list when you're feeling good, like doing it now when you're not even in that place uh, of being stuck. Because when you're, it's easy to do it now. It's easy to write it now when you're feeling good, when you haven't really required yourself to do anything. But if you think that you're going to think of these lists or cheer yourself up when you're already feeling down, it's a little more difficult. So my suggestion was is for you to create this list, put it everywhere, put it, in your Google Docs, in your phone, on your notepad, anywhere that you can remind yourself when you're feeling in that low stuck spot. What can I do? So let's see, some of the things that people mentioned on Sunday were things like some people like to clean, some people like to um, watch things on YouTube. And you know what? I have some examples right here. So a sample inspiration list. So I said first, like, remember your why. Why are you doing this? You're like, okay, I want to lose 25 pounds because I want to be healthy, because I want uh, to be able to live to see my grandchildren, or I want to be able to run and play with them. I want to avoid having diabetes. I want that to stop in my family. I want that to stop with me. You can also review and update your vision board. I did a vision board tutorial, I think a couple of weeks ago for the first week. And if you don't have any of these replays, let me know and I will be sure to send it to you. And in the vision board technique that I mentioned, I use Pinterest, and I start out with X amount of pictures, and then the goal is to come back to that vision board and like add something every day. And it's not about doing 300 pictures at one time. It's about showing up to that vision board every day and updating it, because that's when you see it and it gets you excited. So watching inspiring YouTube videos, that's also one of my favorites. People who I admire, people who are doing the things that I like to do. You can listen to a power playlist, creating a musical playlist of different songs that are in alignment with what you want. Be very careful to the music that you listen to, because it is very powerful and will inspire you. So if you're trying to do something positive, keep that positive thought going. You can also perform a fiery heart candle ritual. That is like a red motivation candle, because there's times, when we just don't feel like it, or we need to start something, or we need to continue doing something, and we might feel our passion waning a little bit. Well, a fiery heart candle could be the thing that kicks you back into your groove, and it's very helpful. Seeking out role models, people who've done what you've done, because most people have, you can usually find someone who has done what you want to do. And especially if they come back from, if they come from a similar background, it can be very inspiring. There's a saying, success leaves clues. So when you see successful people doing something, it's a reminder that you can do it too. Talking to supportive friends and family. Of course, when you have people who do believe in you and who are like your biggest cheerleaders, make sure that you talk to them when when you need that little extra boost. Spending time in nature, just seeing that there's this power greater than you, and you're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And it, for me anyway, that is very inspiring. And place positive post-it notes around your space. Like, that's something very simple, but it works for some people. And repeat, repeat, repeat. So the idea is to have this inspiration list and look at your list when you're feeling like, "Oh, I don't feel like," and do one little thing on that list, and it changes your energy. These are what we call in psychology pattern interrupts, because if we're in this pattern of feeling sorry for ourselves, or not feeling like we want to do something, we need to do something quickly, just something small that changes the trajectory of our day, the trajectory of our thinking. Because when we get into that downward spiral of thought, that can go down, 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 down. So we want, as soon as possible, to break that habit by interrupting that pattern by doing something fun and uplifting. Okay, now this is a separate list. I want you to list your strengths and resources, both who and what. This is a list because I want you to remind yourself, like, what are the things that you have going for you? So, you want to write a book. So some of your strength would be, I'm able to sit in a chair for 5 hours of a time. Like, I can focus. I have the power of focus. Or I have an outline written already. Or I have a first draft and I just need to redo it. Or if you like, if you want to start a business, your strengths and resources could be something like, I have I have really good ideas, or I'm really good with my hands and I can make these things. I can make these bath oils, these products. Resources, you might have someone who is happy to or loan or give you money. Wow, that's awesome if you have it. Not everybody does, but this is just, or if you want to buy a house, you might have good credit. You're like, okay, I have credit, but I need to do these other things. I need to raise a down payment, but I do have good credit. Or it might be the other way around. Like, okay, well, I have a down payment, but I need to work on my credit, and however that works for you. So I want you to list your strengths and resources. And then a sample list of that is some patience, ability to follow through, as I said, significant other willing to give or loan money, good credit, a well-paying job that enables you to afford those side hustle expenses. Or you might have a job that maybe doesn't pay as well, but it has a lot of downtime so you can work on your projects on the side. You might have someone in the business, someone who can like be a mentor to you, but like someone that or just like a mentor role model on speed dial, someone you can call at a moment's notice with the question. You're like, I need to do this thing, but I'm not really sure how. Can you help me? And excellent health professionals. I was talking to Platypus earlier, like excellent health professionals can make all the difference depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to have children, for example, and you're going through a fertility journey, it's going to be very important that you're working with people who are experienced with what you need. Because as yes, thank you, Platypus. As Platypus could tell you, if you keep finding yourself with medical professionals, health professionals, mental health professionals that can't really help you, they don't really see you, that is a huge block. So when you have that, that's a very good thing. So I want you to think about, what do you have working for you? And I want you to create a list for that. So now, after that's the planning as far as like, to help you do what you're going to do, but that's like the physical, mundane kind of activities. Now I want to get into the more magical ones, spiritual ones. So, and that includes using astrology as a planning tool. So astrology is like a clock in the sky. And I hadn't really thought about it until I was talking with my husband about it. He's a muggle, he's an atheist, but he's very supportive. And I was explaining to him and realizing that the thing about astrology is it's we have these stars and planets in the sky, and they're moving around, but they're moving around in a regular, like the regular orbits and regular occurrences that happen in the sky. That's how we all know Capricorn is going to be every December through January. We know that all of these different Capricorn, all of these different astrological seasons are always going to happen at the same time because they correspond to a constellation that is in the sky. But then we also have things like the full moon and the new moons and all these different things that occur on a regular basis. So astronomers and astronomy and astrology used to be a lot closer together, the people who studied them. And they were making the connection between the things that are happening in the sky and the things that are happening on the earth. So there's a saying, as above, so below. So here it is, the other day we had this great conjunction with Saturn and Jupiter. They were 0.1 degrees apart from each other, making like this really huge looking star. And it was all on the winter solstice. So like these things happening aren't really a coincidence. So people who do believe in astrology or study astrology, they feel that there is a correlation between something that is going to happen for us and Earth too. So we can use these things, we can use these different astrological elements in our planning as well. Jen is like, giggled when you called him a muggle. He is, he's cool. Shoshana says, I'm so obsessed with astrology right now. Astrology, it's so deep, and I'm not even going to be barely scratching the surface. But I want to show you some ways that you can use it to your benefit. I have a book. Yeah, K Banks, like there's so much going on. There's all of these different there's so many layers to astrology. So I'm just, as I said, I'm just going to give you like the basic stuff in relation to planning. Oh, Kia asks, are these strengths supposed to be in direct relation to what we want to manifest this year, or more general strengths and resources? They could be both, but definitely the strengths in relation to what you want to attract. Definitely that, like start with that. And because sometimes we might forget, like when we're feeling down about something, we might forget, oh, I wrote a book. Like Kia, you just wrote a book. I know. So it's like, what are the strengths? What are the things that you have going for you that are related to what it is that you want to accomplish? But other things that are just good about you, like, you know, fantastic habits and strengths and things you want to brag about, that's good too. Because like reminding yourself of these things is, it enables us to go forward and to do the things that we want to do. Woo! Shoshana says, I have 3 books and taking a class. Girl, good for you. I've gone through phases with astrology. So, but again, it could be a very powerful tool. And also, I'm going to be going a little deeper in astrology today. But if you feel like it's too much, you know, just take what you can, and you know, take the best, leave the rest. It's that kind of thing. Because astrology is one of those things is you might learn it for a little bit, and then you might move on and do something else, and then you'll come back to it, or someone will explain something about it, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. But there's a lot to digest when it comes to astrology. But I think I'm trying to keep this digestible if I can today. All right, so let's see, use astrology as a planning tool. So first, I'm going to give you like a basic rundown of the winter season energies. So for example, Capricorn, which we're in right now, December 21st through January 20th. And those themes, so if you're like, I'm a Capricorn, whoop, whoop. So Capricorn season themes, and people who are Capricorn will often have, traits, or they will, like, these are things that they will be naturally good at: goal setting, structure, building, fatherhood, clarity, course correction, business. So those are so if you are working on a business, for example, or even like setting your goals, things like that, Capricorn season is really great for that. Now, next, for January 21st to February 19th is Aquarius season. Aquarius season is about innovation, friendship, revolution, community, independence, questioning authority. It's about thinking outside of the box. It's about not doing everything the way that everyone else wants to do it. And then Pisces is like, that's the end of the astrological cycle. It's emotions, it's artistic expression, intuition, empathy, and the higher self. So if you are working on something that is more related to you're creating art, or you're working on your spiritual practice, Pisces is a great time for that. But these aren't the only energies that will be present. But I just wanted to give you, like, these are the next 3 signs, astrological signs that are coming up over the next 3 months. Now, we also have the moon. The moon, many of us will use the moon for the new moon and the full moon. We will put our crystals out, or we'll make moon water, and then we'll like charge our stuff. And that's really great. But there's even deeper ways that we can use this. Oh, by the way, my birthday is January 10th, for those who asked. Well, let's see. Amanda says, if you get a calendar that is geared towards helping out with planning and astrology, it helps. I just got one called the Witch's Calendar. I have one in my desk somewhere. It makes it easy. Each day corresponds to astrology. So if you get a calendar that is geared towards helping that out with planning and astrology, it helps. Oh, I'm repeating that twice. So yes, that is definitely something you could do. So the new moon is good for setting and resetting intentions. So remember, we're saying we might fall off the wagon. We might kind of lose our nerve or whatever. The new moon is the time for you to reset. So you can set those intentions and you can reset them again. You can just keep on resetting them. Do not feel like, oh, dang it, you know, I went to Carvel and I ate a big cake all by myself. I guess my diet's over. No, that means when the new moon comes, you reset. You reset that intention. The waxing moon, when the moon is getting larger, those are for attraction rituals. We want to attract something. We want to manifest something to us. The full moon is for reviewing our progress. This is like the moon, and expressing gratitude. Now, what I want you to think about doing every full moon reviewing progress on whatever it is that you're working on. So every time you see a full moon, I want you to ask yourself, how did it go? Did I get what I wanted? You know, whatever the thing that you were working on, and express gratitude for the people and the situations that helped you get where you are and whatever lessons you learned. And the waning moon is good for removing obstacles. I think we don't necessarily talk about the waning moon and the rituals that we can do at that point enough. And I feel that we want to talk about that today. So the waning, we often want to attract stuff, right? We're like, oh, I want to attract this. I want to get this thing. I want to get this thing. I want to get this thing. But sometimes we might feel like, dang, this is not working. I need something. I need. I feel like I'm blocked. Like I keep doing these attraction rituals, but nothing is coming. In that case, you might need to do a ritual for removing obstacles. So I'm going to show you next how to work with those particular energies over the next 3 months. So sometimes you might have to do a removing obstacles to something. And it's also very powerful. But you just want to use that energy that is present in, in the world. So for example, so I said January. Well, I was saying the first part of like January is Capricorn season. However, December 30th coming up. Let's see, today the 29th. Yeah. So tomorrow, I think I'm not sure, I don't remember what time it is, but it's the full moon in Cancer. So the full moon Cancer is good for, so to use that. So first, let's start right there. It's going to be a full moon on December 30th. So the first thing I would want you to do for the 30th on the full moon is see where you are right now. Where are you starting from? What is your starting line? Like you were talking about the woman at the starting, you're at the starting line on December 30th. Where are you? Like if you want to lose weight, how much do you weigh right now? Like just and it's just about being honest. Like where are you in the process right now? Because this is not where you're going to stay, but this is just where you are right now. And then as the moon wanes after the full moon, that full moon is in Cancer. So as the moon is waning, as it's getting smaller, I want you to look at this list here: intuition, goddess work, reconciliation, dreams, emotions, clairvoyance, female fertility, receptivity, women's blah blah, motherhood. There's a lot of stuff going on for Cancer season. So now the way astrology works, there is a polar opposite for each sign. So we're in Capricorn season, but for every full moon, there's going to be a new moon in the opposite sign. So you're going to have two energies that you can work with. So for this full moon in Cancer, as it wanes, if you need to remove obstacles related to intuition, your psychic work, fertility, if you're trying to have a baby, for example, you might want to do some kind of fertility spell that will remove any obstacles to that. Women's mysteries, motherhood. If you are doing something that involves working with your mother, and say you and your mother have an estranged relationship, then working some kind of removing obstacle spell after the full moon in Cancer will be really good for that. Now, January 13 is when the new moon in Capricorn actually happens. So that is the time to think about goal setting, structure, building, fatherhood, clarity, course correction. This is when you're going to be like, okay, I want to attract this. I'm working on my business. Maybe you want to become a father. Maybe you're ready to build your empire, start your business. So then January 13th, as that new moon is starting to wax and become something, that is going to be a good season for that. Yeah, Shoshana. Oh, it's 10:28 tonight. Thank you. So Shoshana says that the full moon in Capricorn full moon in Cancer is 10:28 tonight. There we go. So this is a great time for you to start thinking about, what do you need to release? Start there. We're getting rid of stuff. People were talking about decluttering. This is a great time for decluttering because it's after the full moon. As soon as it hits full, it starts to wane. So that's a time for getting rid of things. That's time for releasing obstacles. It's getting things out of the way, decluttering. That is the time. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Miss Jaquette, you were funny. Okay, so that is the winter season energies. And remember, this is going to be a replay that you can access later, so you can come back to this later. Now, for end of February, excuse me, end of January and end of January, February, January 28th will be the full moon in Leo. February 11th will be the new moon in Aquarius. So the Leo full moon on the 28th, and right after it starts to wane, that's good for releasing obstacles related to acting, performance, public speaking, courage, self-expression, play, and enthusiastic sex. So say, for example, you want to, maybe one of your goals is uh, to do more live streams for your business. So you might want to use that time to work on doing more live, or do some kind of ritual about releasing your fear around that, around your self-expression. Or you might be wanting to have more playful sex with your partner. That would be a great time. Like say, say if you're trying to, do some kind of reconciliation work with your partner, you might want to have some playful, enthusiastic sex. You want to have those obstacles that would be in the way. Anything in the way of enthusiastic sex and play, I'm all for that. So you can use the full moon in Leo for that. February 11th is when we have the new moon in Aquarius. So that's when you want to think about innovation, friendship, revolution. This is all that out of the box thinking. You're like, okay, I want to get some new ideas for my business. I want to do something different when it comes to my fertility journey. Like it's about thinking outside of the box and not doing things that everyone else is doing. So that is what winter. That's what February, end of January, beginning of to mid February is good for. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, and then February 27th is the full moon in Virgo. I know I have a lot of Virgos present. That's good for releasing obstacles, for reorganization, celibacy, course correction, discernment, service, self-knowledge. So like those of you who need to reorganize, and you're just like, I want to do this stuff. I want to be more detail oriented, but I just can't. Well, you can do some kind of ritual that will help you get that out the way. So actually someone was asking about like a spell for losing weight. Like you could do that. You could do that after, like when the moon is waning in Virgo, because that is definitely a course correction. And or and maybe you want to be celibate, that might be something you're like, you know what, I really want to get these, I really want to avoid these fuck boys, and I really need to work on my celibacy. So like maybe I might need to do, not me, maybe someone else might need to do a ritual to remove obstacles to becoming celibate, if that is your choice. And then, yes, Shoshana says, I don't know a spell off the top of my head. I think it's about the weight loss, but I would set the intention during the waning moon to correspond with releasing. Exactly. Berva says she's a messy Virgo. That's funny. There's not that many. And Pisces, the new moon in Pisces is March 13th. And that is good for attracting things like emotions, artistic expression, intuition, empathy, the higher self, especially if you are creating a spiritual business, and you want to use that season for creating, like what kind of, so a lot of these things can almost overlap. Like if you wanted to use the Pisces season for, how can I express my art or express my spirituality through my business? Or how do I let's see, intuition, higher self. You wanted to do more self-love, you could do that then. If you wanted to work with your ancestors, you could do that then. So some of these, like, you just use your imagination, and you could say, okay, I think Pisces season would be good for this. And if you feel that you don't have to do something every single time, like you're like, okay, the full moon, this is, I'm going to do this. New moon, I'm going to do this. It won't always work in your favor because you might just be like, okay, I'm just going to be working with the new moon in this particular, uh, zodiac, and that's fine. But I just want to give you some ideas that there will be opportunities to attract and opportunities to release within each month. And do not sleep on rituals for removing obstacles because they are very powerful. And it's one of those things that you can do a spell to remove obstacles. And then the next time you do an attraction spell, it works really quick. So don't sleep on that. All right, so let's see, what else do I have for you? And then the daily energies. So I took a class a few years ago called the 90-day year, and this is kind of where some of this is coming from. And my teacher talked about having certain days to work on certain things, like to kind of keep it in your mind that you're going to do things on a certain day. And so basically, I'm just adding my little magical spin on that whole idea of a 90-day year. And when we have sort of like a schedule of different things that we do on different days, that also keeps us very much in order. Now, um, different days of the week have different energies because they're ruled by different planets. So it works really well. So I had said before that like Thursday is my numbers day. I call that my numbers day. It's ruled by Jupiter. So expansion, health, ambition, that's Thursday. So for me, that's the day that I'm looking at my budget. I'm checking all my financial records. And let me tell you, that did not take me over. That was not an overnight thing. Like to finally get to that place where I can go and look at my finances every Thursday. That now I look at it more than once. I mean, not, through the week, but like if any of you want to start a business or interested in doing that, you have to you have to get comfortable with looking at your numbers. You have to get used to looking at them all the time. How much money are you spending? How much money are you earning? And where are they evening up or not? So it took me a while, but this class was really helpful. But now, knowing what we know about, about magic and spirituality, I put that spin on it. So that's why Thursdays is my day. But for you, you might want to use a different day. But think about how can you use these different days from week to week to week. So Sunday is health, success, protection, creativity. It's ruled by the sun. So maybe you're working on some kind of health journey. So Sundays might be your self-care Sunday day. Or you might work on creativity. That might be the day um, that you spend your time in your studio, something like that. Monday is for intuition. It's ruled by the moon, the goddess, reconciliation. So that would be a good day for, if you want to tap into like that could be a good brainstorming day. Say you want to do some brainstorming, Mondays might be that day. Tuesday is ruled by Mars, energy, passion, anger, motivation. I love Tuesdays for starting new projects. I love them for if I'm doing like a fiery heart spell or like I need some kind of motivation. Tuesday is a great day for that for me. Wednesday is communication, travel, art. It's ruled by Mercury. So that might be a good day for meetings. So for example, if you have enough power over your schedule, you might say, okay, Wednesdays are the days that I have meetings. Or if you're a coach, okay, I'm going to only do my coaching calls on Wednesdays, or maybe Wednesdays and another day. Thursday, as I mentioned before, expansion, health, ambition. Again, that could be another health day, depending on what you want to do. Friday is the day of Venus and other love goddesses. So if you're working on, love, traction, beauty, you're working on meeting your soulmate, that's the day that maybe you will work, you will do something different to your online dating profile. Friday is a great day for that. And Saturday is ruled by Saturn. So business transactions, grounding, that's another day maybe for planning your business, getting yourself in order. So these are just different things that you can do. So instead of thinking of your activities in terms of, well, I'm going to do this as it comes, you can say, okay, Sundays, I'm going to do this day. Mondays, I'm going to do this. Thursdays, I'm going to do this. Saturdays, I'm going to do this, and something like that. So just something to think about. So basically, you want to align your actions with the energies that are strongest. So when we think about, now I'm from Florida, I'm from Miami. So I was used to everything being green all the time, evergreen trees, this whole changing of season thing. Like I know what the hell that was about. And I now live in New York and I see now what the difference is, but there's something to be said about seeing these seasons change. And you have winter, you have spring, you have fall, you have winter, like all these different seasons. And for every different season, you have different, the nature looks different plants grow. Like I learned this year, now that I moved outside of New York City, that there's like wildflowers that grow like only certain times of the year. Like, oh, that flower, it's here now, but now it's gone. And then there's another flower that shows up. And it sounds like really obvious now, but at the time, I thought that like if you planted a seed that it would just, it would just like grow, and that's not really what plants do. They have seasons, and actually, we all have personal seasons. But if you go to a farmer's market, for example, you go to a farmer's market, and the farmers will bring their different produce. They're going to change from season to season. So I want you to think about that. What seasonal energies are the strongest, and how can you use those for your goals? So if this is a good time for planning, then this is a good time for planning for you. So we said we're in Capricorn season, or we're right about to be in Capricorn season. If you want to work on your goals and your goal setting, this is a really good time to do that. So think about that when you're planning your first 90 days. Platypus says, where my mom lives in Arizona, it's either hot or way too hot. Exactly. ZK says, I thought about playing the lottery every Thursday with the money sigil on the money and the ticket. Hey, try it. Brindy says, I've been listening to Planet Frequency for each day of the week in the morning, and it has definitely been helping me get through the day. And there are those who like to, like, there are apps that you can get on your phone that keep you in touch with what the moon phase is, and there's other ones that will even tell you what planet is going by the hour, like what planet is ruling each individual hour. I am not that, like, I don't go that deep in my practice, but I know plenty of people who do. So if that's something that interests you, maybe give it a chance to look into it, or not. So let's see. Well, so then the other thing that you can do to get your plans and get them in order is to start or join an intention circle, because you're not alone. I'm definitely a big cheerleader, and it's so important for you to have other people who are also looking to create change in their life. And the benefits are when you have like-minded journey companions, people who are like, yeah, go girl, people who are also in that same frame of mind. There's nothing worse than trying to share your dreams and wishes with someone who's basically spitting on it. Like, don't share your pearls before swine. Yeah. And people who give you support for your goals. You can create like a law of attraction vortex. When you have all of these high vibrating people working together, it kind of helps everyone move together. And you might need a spell prescription. You're like, what I need to do? Like, someone was asking, like, I need a weight loss spell. Well, it's really helpful when you're with people that know and they can offer you something, as well as having like group manifestation rituals. So I'm definitely going to be offering, well, I am already offering the Intention Intensive workshop. So this is something I'm offering. It's a 2-day workshop, January 23rd and 24th. There are going to be 4 live sessions. So all the stuff that we've been talking about, we're going to be doing it live, but like in a group form on Zoom. So preparing your intention, protecting your intention, planning to receive, and having a live group manifestation ritual, which is really powerful. And if you need personalized help with creating your rituals or planning your first 90 days, I'm here for you. spell prescriptions, as we're talking about, and a manifestation power playlist. I love making music power play musical playlists that are powerful. There we go. Because it's just really helpful to have music that is in alignment with your goals. And let's see, and on the 21st, I had like an early bird winter solstice group manifestation. And in addition to the live intention and sessions on 23rd and 24th, I'm also offering 5 masterclass replays for free. So that's the Candle Magic 101 masterclass, the Shadow Work masterclass, Ultimate Love Magic, Prosperity Magic, which is actually this Sunday, by the way, if y'all are paying attention, and the Spiritual Cord Cutting masterclass. So the price of the masterclasses alone are, a really great deal, even if you weren't having the intention sessions. But then I'm also creating a 90-day moon planner. So all the stuff that we're talking about, you will be getting that, and that'll be ready like in the new year. And of course, a private intention intensive Facebook group. So all of this is worth about $1,000, and I know for sure, at the very least, all these master classes and community, they're definitely worth at least $1,000. But for the early birds, well, until December 31st anyway, it's $97. It's going to be $197 after that, but for now, $97, and you can get that at queenupclub.com/early. So let's see. Now, before we go, I want to remind you of the session 3's assignment, which is create your fall down 10, get up 10 list, and review your winter season energies, review your daily energies, and plan your first 90 days. So when you get this replay, when you see this on YouTube, go and rewind all this and say, okay, so this is going on in January, this is going on in February. What am I working on and how can I fit it in? And again, this is where it's important that you are not overwhelming yourself with all of these different things to do. You want to keep it manageable for yourself. And then you could share your progress in the Marie Lazeau Queen Up group on Facebook. That is still free. You could still just show up and let us know what you're working on and get and give support to others. So we will do some question and answers if anyone has any. And for someone who just asked. So it's queenupclub.com/early. All right, so I'm going to turn off recording and then we're going to do some question and answers. All right, and as soon as I find that button. Okay.